What's going on behind the scenes that has these potential transition people on the Biden side? Because we don't know there's going to be a transition, anything freaking out right now. Well, there's a scorched earth policy going on that some of you picked up on and some of you haven't because the media won't cover it. And this is exactly, if we're going out because of a election where big tech, the media, and everyone else decided to go scorched earth on Donald Trump, well, let's just use their rules. Joe, same rules, right? Let's go scorched earth on them, right? Fair is fair.
Yeah, scorch it.
Rules.
Yep.
Scorch it, babe. It's Joe, babe. Scorch it, babe. I'm down. That's not right, Dan. Okay. Maybe I have to find a different show then. Where let's show them let's take the moral high. What moral high road? Moral high road? You got a bunch of clowns coming on, want to defund the police, get you and your family put into a high crime neighborhood where crime erupts. They want to, terminate life in the womb up to 9 months of pregnancy. Let's take the moral high road. You can do that yourself. I'm not interested. Thanks. Let me show you this tweet and you'll see what I'm getting at. This may seem like a relatively innocuous tweet. It's not. So here's this guy, Paul McCleary, he put this up on Twitter about some appointments the Trump administration's making on the way out. And as you'll see in his tweet there, he says, wow, it's a dizzying day at the Department of Defense. And he talks about a couple people who got fired. And he says, here's a couple people who now are in other words, got hired or taken over new roles in the Department of Defense. Remember that. Ezra Cohen Watnick is now the acting Undersecretary of Intelligence. Oh, really? Also, Kash Patel as the Chief of Staff. Oh, Patel and Watnick were both central to Devin Nunes' efforts? It's got to be just a coincidence. So Kash Patel and Watnick, who worked like this, hand and glove with Devin Nunes, exposing the entire Logan Act, BS, Spygate, spying operation on the Trump team. No one's done more than Nunes and his team. Kash Patel is one of the legendary heroes of this country, and a name, sadly, 99% of, well, this is my audience, let's say 80%. On the general public, it's 100%. Nobody knows. You all, that was a mathematical impossibility, but you get the point. 90% of my audience probably doesn't even know the name because it's one of those quiet heroes in this country, a man by the name of Kash Patel.
I don't.
This country, and nobody knows Spygate better than Joe. Listen, this guy is a hero. I'm dead serious. Kash Patel has done yeoman's work with Devin Nunes and Ezra Cohen Watnick to uncover all of this stuff we know about. It's very simple. The FBI spied on Trump and they use BS reasons to do it, like the Logan Act and other crap. That's simple. You know, the intricacies we can get into another time. So, okay, you've established, Dan, that Patel's a hero, had a lot to do with it. What is Patel doing in the potential outgoing days of the Trump administration? Potential. What is he doing being hired as the chief of staff at the Department of Defense while Ezra Cohen Watnick is at the Department of Defense Intel, heading Intel over there? Don't worry, folks. I'm here to decipher it all for you. That's what I do. Well, let's get a little background on Patel, who is a hero. Remember this article in the Washington Examiner from a while ago? Patel seems to have been placed in very key positions in the remaining days of the first Trump term. We'll hope there's a second. But NSC staffer and FISA abuse report author becomes top aide to acting spy chief Rick Grinnell. This was in February of this year. Who's that guy? NSC staffer. Oh, it's Kash Patel. So Kash Patel, Devin Nunes' right-hand guy, national hero who uncovered this scheme, this disgusting scandal, was over working with Rick Grinnell from the beginning of the year in the intel side. What were they doing over there? Oh, remember all those declassifications by another national hero, Rick Grinnell? Remember that, folks, when he was running was the director of national intelligence acting? Remember that? All that stuff got declassified. How we now know about the Peter Strzok notes and VP Biden and the Logan Act. Remember who requested the unmaskings on Flynn just days before the Trump inauguration? Oh, Joe Biden. Remember Joe Biden? Who declassified that? Oh, it was Rick Grinnell. And conveniently, Kash Patel was working over there. Man, I hadn't heard that before. Well, you heard it now. So now Mysteriously, Kash Patel is now the chief of staff over in the Department of Defense. What could he be doing over at the Department of Defense after his work cleaning up the country in the DNI hasn't concluded, but we may have needed him elsewhere. What could we have needed from Kash Patel and others over at the DOD? I don't know. Let's look at this old Washington Times piece about the Department of Defense. This is just strange. Sure, it's a coincidence, Joe. Rowan Scarborough, back in July of 2020, wrote this piece. Headline: Chuck Grassley says Department of Defense office that paid FBI spy Stephen Halper, quote, has lost its way. Oh, that sounds like something we've told you on this show for 3 years. What did we tell you? I know you regular listeners, they call in the industry P1s if you want to sound really jargony and like you're really smart about the radio industry. You P1 dedicated diehards, the best audience in the business, you probably know where I'm going with this. Some of you new listeners be like, okay, so we got this guy who uncovered Spygate, who worked in intelligence with Rick Grinnell, where they declassified the Spygate horror story and let us all see it. The story where we figured out Biden was involved in this. What would he be doing at DOD? Now, the same guy, Kash Patel, well, maybe he's looking into these payments from the Department of Defense where Patel is now. Payments that were made to an FBI spy who was intimately involved in spying on the Trump campaign, a guy by the name of Stefan Halper. What did I tell you the scandal was here? I understand this whole Spygate thing. The details of it can get very complicated. The overall big, remember in third grade when you did book outlines? If we had to do a third grade book outline to make this really, really elegant and simple, it is no more complicated than this. Obama and Biden spied on Trump. They used fake reasons to do it, the Logan Act and the PP tape, and they tried to cover it up later. But one of the ways they spied on Trump was getting professional people involved with the intelligence community for decades, like Stephen Halper, to do the spying because they would be credible. They couldn't have the guy on the corner, the guy squeegee man on the corner washing your windows do it. He wouldn't be credible. Squeegee guy in the corner said Trump worked with the right. No one would believe him, even if he was telling the truth. They needed someone with a rep, with street cred. So they went and found Halper, who'd worked with intelligence people in the past. And the third part of the scandal, Obama spied, used fake reasons to do it. The third part of the scandal, that's the most devastating part, after they tried to cover it up, the fourth part actually, is you paid for it. We didn't pay for it. No, you did. The Department of Defense has a operating branch within it called the Office of Net Assessments. They paid Stephen Halper, the Office of Net Assessments, to spy on your preferred candidate for the presidency, Donald J. Trump. I have only told you that for 3 years now, that the biggest part of this scandal is Obama and Biden spied, and your money was used to do it. What do you think Chuck Grassley's investigating at the Department of Defense? Promotions he didn't like? No. Here's one more article I'd like you to check out, because it was a whistleblower about the Office of Net Assessments, within the Office of Net Assessments. A whistleblower. Joe, whistleblowers are supposed to be respected. Unless you're whistleblowing on Democrat scandals, then you're to be vilified, tarred and feathered, flogged publicly. It's two rules, remember. There's only whistleblowers, like the whistleblower in the Ukraine hoax. Remember, that guy, you have to chant when you're around him too. But if you're a whistleblower for scandals on the left, you're to be vilified in the media. So the Office of Net Assessments that use your tax dollars to pay for the Trump campaign to be spied on, there was a whistleblower in there, and the whistleblower got investigated. See this Epic Times article? This is a good one. This is from a while ago. Explains the whole story. Epic Times, government withheld exculpatory report during trial of Pentagon whistleblower. Oh, isn't that weird? So the same whistleblower, a guy by the name of Adam Lovinger, that blew the whistle on shady practices in the Office of Net Assessments, which use your tax dollars to pay to have the Trump campaign spied on, they went after him and investigated the whistleblower instead. Why did they do that? Maybe they needed to shut him up? because the Office of Net Assessments was the source of your tax dollars to pay to have the Trump campaign spied on, which Joe Biden knew about, and Andy McCabe is playing dumb about. Land that plane, baby. Bill Hemmer at Fox told me that once. It was a great compliment. I was in a green room in Vietnam, and he said, Dan, nobody lands that plane better than you. Love you, babe. Thanks. True story. You like that? Your tax dollars paid to have Trump spied on. Everybody knows it. Ted Cruz knows it. Andy McCabe knows it. Biden knew it. And now they're trying to hide it and make it go away. Nah, not so much. Kash Patel's now over in the Department of Defense. So let's just get 3 weeks ahead of the news cycle right now and predict that you're going to see some really interesting stuff coming out of the Department of Defense soon. It's declassified. I'm just saying.
You just heard Dan Bongino.